Heavy rain caused devastation flood in the Black Sea province of Trabzon. Turkey caused extensive damage, homes, roads and vital infrastructure. The river began late Friday night, intensified over the weekend, leaving parts of the city underwater and moved several neighborhoods including Ortahisar and Akcaabat were badly affected, with the residents calling the situation one of the worst in recent memory. Authorities report that emergency teams have been deployed across the region, working tirelessly to rescue those trapped in their homes and clear the rubble. However, access in some areas remained difficult due to landslides with a further complicated rescue force. In some villages, roads were completely washed away, isolated residents from basic service. The roads have also caused extensive damage to agriculture, with the farmland flooding and crops destroyed. Local farmers, already struggling economically, now themselves is uncreated environment for their livelihood hand in a balance. The region where agriculture make up a significant part of the local economy, the damage could have long-term consequences. Trabzon major described the situation as a catastrophe, noting that teams are working around the clock to restore order. We have mobilized all available rescue to mitigate the floods, and the situation is very dynamic and complex, he said during the press brief. He urged residents to stay at home and avoid flood-prone areas where the region could see more rainfall in coming days. The Turkish government also announced that it would provide financial assistance to affected families and businesses. In his statement, Interior Minister emphasizing that government is committed to rebuild the country and ensure that such disaster will not leave standing scars in society. Crisis, however, appeared to block long-term planning, investment in flood prevention measures, especially in the region known for its vulnerability to the rain. While the focus has been the relief efforts, many Trabzon residents have experienced concerns about the city disaster preparedness. As climate change increases the frequency and intensity of the extreme weather events, experts are calling for the more robust infrastructure and flood prevention system to protect vulnerable regions like Trabzon. The flood in Trabzon follows similar incident in the other parts of the Turkey, including a flash flood in the Istanbul area this year. As the country grapples with the increasing effects of climate change, the need of coordinated, not-wide response to natural disaster is becoming more urgent. For now, the people of Trabzon are left to assess the damage, rebuild their homes, and hope the rains will sustain soon. The deadly flood in the Black Sea province of Trabzon was wreaking havoc across the region, forced thousands of residents to their homes and caused extensive damage to infrastructure and farmland. Several days of continuous rains began last week overwhelmed local drainage system, leading to flash flooding in several areas, including Akcaabat and Sarmaya. The situation was exacerbated by landslides that flooded major roads and access roads, making it difficult to emergency service to reach some of the most affected areas. The scale of the disaster prompted a large-scale response by the Turkish authority, who deployed search and rescue teams from surrounding provinces. The Turkish Red Crescent, together with the local civil defense team, and provided temporary shelter, food and medicine displaced families. However, residents' response to many remote standing in remote villages where roads were completely washed away. In some areas, helicopters are being used to evacuate those demanded, donkey with some inexorably way to arrive to help. We have never seen a flood like this, say Mehmet Edir, a resident of Akcaabat, whose houses inundated overnight. The water was rising so fast that there barely time to move high ground. We lost everything. Our house, our belongings, everything is gone. The Turkish government declared a state of emergency in the province of promises to provide financial assistance to affected households. Prime Minister addressed the nation, assuring the citizens that every force will be moved to support the recovery efforts. Our hearts were the people of Trabzon. We will rebuild ours so quickly, but we must also team from the end invest in better infrastructure and prevent future disaster, he said. Despite the promises of aid, the flood have originated debate from the region of vulnerability to such disaster. The Black Sea coast and now in heavy rain, especially in the final months, was great that little has been done to stretch flood protection and improve drainage system in urban rural areas. Environmental have also raised concerns about the deforestation and uncontrolled urbanization, which they exacerbate flood risk and destabilization the region's natural flood wall. In addition, for the direct impact of infrastructure, the flood have devastated and devastation flood the local agriculture sector, which is the key pillar of Trabzon economy. Vast tracts of farmland were submerged and crops corn in the household that the region's main supply were completely destroyed. According to the preliminary estimates, hunters and farmers have also lost entire usual harvest, exacerbating the economic hardship already forced by rural economies. For many farmers, and food could spell financial disaster without significant government intervention. Trabzon government have visited in some worst affected areas, offering support promised with action. Our top priority is to ensure the safety of our citizens and restore access to isolated communities. We are also working closely with the agriculture experts to assess the damage on our farmland to find ways to support farmers and rebuilding their livelihood. In the immediate aftermath of the disaster, local residents come together in solidarity with the community members, helping each other to clear, to rebuild, to salvage their remains. However, the road to recovery will be long and may be done in the region economy, which is already in a difficult position, will take years to recover. Experts also want to have rain, maybe not yet. Meteorological forecasts indicate some storms are coming, increasing the risk of more flooding. This has added the extensive and accidentally. In Trabzon, many are preparing for a more potential damage in the coming days, while emergency teams are working around the clock to restore vital services, including electricity to clear water, and government has planned to explore ways to make region more resilient to flooding. They include the potential construction new flood barriers, improved drainage system, the restoration project amid the prevention future landslides. However, many locals remain skeptical. Nothing to similar promises have been made in the past without tangible results. As Trabzon forces to uncreate future attention is tuning how the city entire the Black Sea region in prepare for the era more frequent to severe weather events. As the floodwater slowly recedes Trabzon, the full experts for the disaster is becoming increasingly apparent. The Turkish province known for its full greenhouse landscape to slip mountains terrain is suffering the unpredictable rains and the flood turned the picturesque rivers and raging torrents. For thousands of affected residents, the devastation is not only material but also deeply emotional, as many struggle with the loss of homes, livelihood, and in some cases lost one. Although there were no official reports of casualties, local authorities have reported the number of injured and missing persons. In the center of the city, on Triathlon, the heat of Trabzon was hardest hit and the water level rose to dangerous heights. Streets were once a bustling life and covered in moss, debris and damaged cars swept away by torrential power. Shops, businesses, and cafes are contributed to the local economy and now closer to their owners, and they wanted to be able to reopen. One business owner, Ahmed Kara, described the feeling of happiness of overwhelming heat. We saw the rain coming but no expected to turn into this. In just a few hours caused changing. We kept it completely flooded. We lost everything inside. The insurers would cover the full cost. I didn't know where they able or to start. The flooding also exposed the infrastructure shortcomings of Trabzon. The rapid urbanization over the past decades left the city vulnerable. Cities stay are delayed. The construction, especially the riverbanks and coastal areas, will make the region vulnerable of the flooding. Several residents building contracted the higher risk zone, safer catastrophic damage, raising questions about the comprehensive of building costs and construction oversight. Urban planning and environmental have long warned Trabzon's and quiet topography, a combination of higher mountains and another valley, requires more throughout the urban development, including the better software management system. The nasty explosion of houses and infrastructure often ignored this natural construction, the site leading to be disaster. Trabzon has become the victims and multiplied it. A local environmental activist. He have been warning that the year deforestation and urban sprawl the reckoning the region natural disaster against the heavy rain. This leads a tragic reminder of cannot continue the build without taking the environmental into account. We need better planning, scatter building code for sustainable development. The Turkish government has also plunged to the action with the President Erdogan calling to a national strategy to address the growing threat to climate change related disaster. We are seeing more frequent and intense weather events not only there in Trabzon but across the country. Our infrastructure must be adapted to face the new challenges, Erdogan said. He also promised the need to create a cooperation between the government agencies, academic and local communities, develop more effective disaster risk reduction strategies. The Trabzon flood are in part an boring pattern of extreme weather events that have hit Turkey in the recent years. From heat to the flood and the forest fire in the country and facing increasingly issue to deal with the effect of climate change. The Black Sea region in particular have been identified when the violent Turkey most vulnerable region due to quiet geography and frequent rainfall.